if any of these bounties was in the hands of man directly, you can imagine how expensive it would be, for one apple, for example. If mankind nurtured like the way in which it's created, people put seed on the floor, put some water in there, and then once a week they tend to it. Maybe if there's some weeds, clean the weeds, and then it starts to grow by itself, basically. Allah. But if, like, the way in which such nurturing is required for that seed to flourish, to become what it is, there are so many millions and millions of different steps, so much complications, so much intricate details, so much chemical reactions, so much nurturing, so much of everything is required. Now all of this, imagine all of the things that you require in your life, in what you call a sustenance to yourself, all of these are brought to you from whence He does not expect. In this way, stating the perfections of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ownership, His dominicality, His mercifulness and His compassionateness. So the one who puts these fruits, like on a stalk, like as though they were coming from your fingertips, and gives it to you, and He decorates it and colors it and shapes it and forms it and puts smells and tastes to these particular things. The one that's doing all of these is demonstrating to you that He is all merciful, that He is compassionate towards you, that He cares about you, that He knows your needs, and He satisfies those needs in which you are unable to reach. So human beings are unable to discern clearly the reality of this situation while in the sphere of causes. The person goes, oh yeah, look, we put the seed on the ground and then it becomes a tree and then the plant's given it to us. He looks at the causes. He can't see that the causes are a veil, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, behind the scenes, there's a hidden hand behind everything. That there is one who is feeling sorry for him and nurturing him. There is one who actually is being compassionate towards him. There is one who is bringing the whole universe to his assistance, because human beings are in need of everything in this universe. So He brings to your assistance and then run to your feet everything that you require. So this comes from compassion, this comes from love, this comes from being merciful. And this also comes, obviously, other names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only one who is all wise can know you so well. That because there are certain elements that is inside the orange, that is required inside some of your systems and members in your physical body that you don't even know names of. So there's one who knows you better than you know yourself, one who cares about you more than you care about yourself. He is most merciful and most compassionate. So during the fast of Ramadan, what does that do? Because human beings are unable to discern clearly the reality between the situation of how these bounties come about, because a person is heedless. He does not think. He does not think about where this is coming from, or he forgets. However, what happens during the time of the month of Ramadan? However, during the month of Ramadan, the people of belief, of Iman, suddenly they become like a well-drawn army. And as sunset approaches, they display a worshipful attitude, as though having been invited to the pre-eternal monarch's banquet, to the one who owns everything, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is calling you to a banquet, because you have to remember, a few minutes before, the food is all been laid out. You can smell all the beautiful things, all the colours, all the, all the tastes are there, ready to go, ready to be eaten, but you can't eat. But you can't eat. So what happens? Everybody is in exactly the same situation as you, like a well-drawn army, sitting there and waiting for a command. Waiting for a command to say, okay, now you can eat. Which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded, the time of the breaking of the fast, right? Now before, you can eat whatever you feel like it. You can eat wherever, whenever, you don't think. You forget where all these bounties are coming from. But when the person is hungry, he starts to think about the foods. He starts to smell foods that he couldn't smell before. He starts to see colours and shapes and goes, wow, look how nice that looks. The bottle of water that he normally drinks every single day that he takes for granted, he looks and goes, wow, that water looks so nice. And that the appreciation for the simple, basic, day-to-day needs that we have is multiplied by hundreds. And so the appreciation of this thing becomes greater. And the person's worshipful attitude becomes apparent then. Imagine you have water here and you're thirsty. What's your human normal reaction? You pick up the water to drink. That's your normal human reaction. You go to reach for it and go, oh, but I'm fasting. What makes you stop right there? Your body needs it. You want it. Right? All of your desires, everything is saying, take that water and drink it. And a normal circumstance for the whole year, you just drink it anyway. No one ever says to you, oh, stop, don't drink that water. So you go for it and you drink it. See, you become heedless, you become forgetful. And then when you see it, and then someone says, oh, you can't have it, and you go, oh yeah, but I'm fasting. That refraining is our worship towards Allah. This is one of the most sincere forms of worship, where you're refraining from something only because Allah said so. Only because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so. You want it, everything is there, all the conditions are there, but you say no. So you display an attitude that says, I am a servant of Allah. I do not own myself. My body might need this. My nafs might want this. But I do not own myself, and my Creator says to me, not yet. You can't have this. And to show that I worship I worship Allah, and that my obedience to Him, I will not touch this food, because He said so. Having been invited, now being worshipful, having a worshipful attitude, and remembering the bounties, whereas before we started to forget the bounties. Now all the causes and all the veils are start to tear, and you start to see that these bounties are really Allah's product. You can't just have whatever you feel like when you feel like. It's not yours. This is from Allah. And to remember that, the best way to remember it is when you're hungry, because the appreciation of the food is better. Your understanding of everything becomes clearer. But if you're not hungry, then you cannot understand the value of the food. By not being able to understand the value of the food, then you cannot understand the true value of Allah being so merciful towards you, and being compassionate towards you, and being so bountiful towards you, and giving all these things to you. You cannot comprehend this. A person who is not hungry will have less appreciation of food than a person who's starving for food. So the more that you feel a need, and the more impotence that you display, right, and the powerlessness that you feel in yourself, then the greater you understand the power of Allah, His compassion towards you, and the gifts that He's given, and you have a greater appreciation for Allah for giving you that. So the person displays a worshipful attitude at the banquet of the monarch, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's banquet, and they are waiting for the command, and the command is, fall to and help yourself. Sit down, enjoy yourselves now. The time has come, and this command has come. And in this way, they are responding to that compassionate, illustrious, and universal mercy with comprehensive, exalted, and orderly worship. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is requiring something from mankind, yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is requiring and commanding and demanding that He wants worship and appreciation from humanity for the bounties that He's bestowing upon us. Now, the most sincere method and the best way to show your worship towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is by keeping yourself hungry during the time